If Lindsay and Linaniao transmigrate into one of their favorite books after being run over by a car in the real world, where they are married to two twin brothers, as soon as they realize what is happening, they quickly begin to devise a plan that will allow them to escape the tragic fate awaiting their characters, since they are the villains of the story. If they do not change anything, both of them will end up in prison in just a few months, because in the story, Lindsay transfers all of her husband's money to her lover, while Nankiao transfers it to her family. Upon reviewing their situation, they discover that neither of them has any money, so they plan to find a way to generate income in order to leave their husbands before the men have them imprisoned. A housekeeper informs them that their in-laws are waiting for them for dinner, and once there, the parents are surprised to see how well the two women get along, since this was not the case in the past. The man interrupts the girls to remind them that they are already married and should start thinking about how to carry on the family line. To motivate them, he offers millions of yuan along with a villa to whichever one becomes pregnant first. Given their situation, Lindy and Nankiao promise to get pregnant soon, while having a small argument over who will manage to do it first. Their excitement ends when their husbands, Yui and Yichi, suddenly arrive for dinner. The women fall silent immediately, and when they are finally alone with them, they try to leave at once, using the excuse that they are already tired. This does not stop the brothers, who approach them, tease them, and flirt, asking whether they would like their help in having children, which the women deny. Because of this, they realize that their husbands are only waiting for the right moment to send them to prison, so they begin looking for ways to leave as soon as possible. In the morning, their mother-in-law tries to punish them for not waking up early and makes them take the breakfast away. However, the girls are unfazed by this since they were still asleep. The woman's surprise grows when Ichi returns from work just to bring food to Lindsay. She comes out to receive it and smiles sweetly at him, making the man feel attracted to her. Ichi wonders whether his wife is already planning something against him since he sees her as a wicked woman. While they are having lunch, they receive messages about their respective problems. Lindsay's lover asks to meet her, and Nanyao's family asks her to steal information from her husband's company. That night, they plan to teach Lindsay's lover a lesson so that he will never look for her again. Later, when Jan Xiao, her ex-boyfriend and lover, comes to see her, she and Nanyao give him a lesson while their husbands watch from afar. The men are shocked by this, since the women have gone from fighting every day to being extremely close. Ichi also begins to believe that perhaps the smile his wife showed him earlier that day was genuine. When they return home, the men question the women about what is going on between them. However, to get rid of them, Nankiao flirts with Yu, hinting that if he doesn't like her having become close to her sister-in-law, then the two of them should start sharing a bed, an idea he immediately rejects. Thanks to this, the women are able to return calmly to their room. The next morning, Lindy decides to put an end to the situation with her ex-boyfriend once and for all, which is why she meets him at a cafe. Since the man does not realize that the people who hurt him were Lindy and her sister-in-law, he agrees to go. Once there, he asks her to lend him money, promising that they will get married soon. This time, in order to make him leave her alone for good, she decides to pretend that she has no money at all. So when Yanxio asks her for money, she confesses that she has nothing, claiming she had to buy a very expensive gift for her mother-in-law. At first, Yanxiao can't believe it, until Lindsay asks him to lend her money instead. This is enough for the man to leave since the woman is no longer of any use to him. Lindsay breathes a sigh of relief for a few moments until her husband appears at the place. Lindsay asks him what he is doing there, finding out that the business belongs to his family. The girl can only feel pity for the character she is playing, since he was either too shameless or too foolish to go to places owned by her husband. Yichi questions how she knows Jian Xiao, since they seemed rather close. Lindy knows that the moment she says something her husband doesn't like, things will turn ugly for her, so she pretends to cry, explaining that he is a man from her past who had been constantly blackmailing her with an embarrassing photograph of her. That was why she had to give him money, but this time she finally managed to get rid of him because she no longer has any money. Yichi cannot reproach his wife. Even though he doesn't want to admit it and knows she is faking her tears, He cannot help but feel moved when he sees her so vulnerable. At the same time, Yu questions his assistant about what Nanyao went to do with her family, since he suspects she once again gave them information about the family company. However, the assistant doesn't know how to tell him that Nankiao actually went crazy and caused a scene while they were eating. The woman doesn't take long to arrive and asks him to do a dental cleaning for her. Yu refuses, since his wife wanted him not to charge her anything. However, when she realizes he won't agree, she thinks it's best to leave. At that point, Yu finally gives in. While examining her teeth, he notices that they are perfect, which excites him, as he has a kind of fixation on them. Once back home, the girls notice that their husband's attitudes toward them have changed. That night, they talk about it and realize that while Yu has that fixation on teeth, Ichi can't help being moved whenever he sees a cute girl crying. Traits that remind them that the heroine of the story has exactly those two characteristics. They plan to run away as soon as that woman appears. While Nanyao is writing her novel, her mother-in-law overhears her arguing with Lindsay about how the male protagonist seems to be homosexual because of the way he behaves toward his wife. The woman misunderstands this and thinks she is talking about Yu. Her suspicions only grow when he returns home with Ichi, since he behaves in a not very heterosexual manner. During dinner, the woman informs both couples that from now on they must sleep together, since they are married and should spend more time together. As neither couple has a valid reason to refuse, they have no choice but to accept. When they go to the bedroom, Lindy becomes worried because Yichi uses the computer where Nanyao had been writing her story. When she checks, she realizes the man is reading it. He simply comments that the male character is sick, since it's difficult for a man to last 2 hours having sex continuously when the normal time is 10 to 20 minutes. Lindy asks how he knows that, causing both of them to feel embarrassed. In bed, she receives a call from Nanyao, who boasts that she saw Yiyu while he was showering and that he has abs. The girls talk for a while until Yichi calls his brother to tell him to send his wife to sleep, since it was already getting late. That night, nothing happens between the couples. They only hold each other while sleeping. Lindsay feels embarrassed when she realizes this, so she pretends to be asleep when Yichi gets up, while Nanyaan doesn't miss the chance and takes advantage of the moment to touch her husband's abs while he is still asleep. Days later, they receive a visit from an aunt of their mother-in-law who wants to intimidate them just as she used to intimidate the woman herself. Suyan, her niece, accompanies her, although she neither says nor does anything. The girls are not intimidated by the woman and make it clear that if she tries to do anything to them, they will not just stand by and do nothing. Because of this, the woman backs down and leaves them alone. As a token of gratitude, their mother-in-law gives them a pair of valuable jewels, since she feels very happy to see how they stood up to the woman who used to intimidate her when she was a child. She also invites them out to eat because she wants them to teach a lesson to another woman who used to be her friend. Later, the three of them go to a restaurant, where as soon as they arrive, a woman begins speaking badly about them. The girls believe she is the person who intimidated their mother-in-law years ago, so they do not hesitate to confront and insult her in order to defend themselves from her attacks. Their mother-in-law stops them, letting them know that this is not the person they are looking for. It is only later that she tells them the truth. The woman they are searching for used to be her best friend, who dated her ex knowing all the harm he had caused her, and even ended up marrying him. Because of this, whenever she knows that this woman will be nearby, she hides so she doesn't have to face her. With this information, they finally find the woman, only to let her know all the pain she caused her former best friend just for the sake of a man. After this, the relationship between the daughters-in-law and their mother-in-law grows very strong, to the point that the woman begins to see them as her own daughters. That night, Nanyao makes some progress with Yu when he finds her writing her novel and trying to tease her, tells her that he is going to tell everyone the kind of obscene things she writes. Nanyao is not intimidated and instead threatens him back, warning that if he does that, she will say that he only lasts 3 seconds in bed. Yu challenges her to prove it, believing that Nanyao won't dare do anything and is shocked when the woman kisses him. Yiyu runs away from there, since he still doesn't feel ready to take the next step. At the same time, Yichi finds his wife pretending to cry while recording a script, which makes him believe that all this time she has only been pretending to care for him. He goes out drinking with his brother, and because of this, he summons her to his office the next day to ask for a divorce. She is accompanied by Nanyao. Both of them are surprised to see Jian Xiao in the office. From this, the CEO makes it clear that he already knows she has been deceiving him, and in order not to make things worse, Lindy immediately explains that Jian Xiao had been blackmailing her with embarrassing photographs, which is why they had been seeing each other. When Yichi refuses to believe her, she pretends to cry. However, the man doesn't even look at her, so she has to force him to do so, eventually earning his forgiveness. After this, the girls begin to wonder where the heroine of the story might be, since none of them remember her name, and the moment when she was supposed to appear has already passed. Once back home, they meet Ningen, a woman who became their friend at a restaurant. She invites them to her birthday party, telling them that she has very few friends and would love for them to attend, so the girls immediately accept. Days later, Yichi informs his wife that he needs her to accompany him to a banquet that night, so she must get ready. Since he is going to call a makeup artist, Nanqiao says that won't be necessary, because she will take care of getting her friend ready herself. She succeeds, leaving Lindsay even more beautiful than she already was. Yichi is captivated by her beauty. Although he doesn't say much, he begins to behave like a perfect gentleman toward her and even insists on accompanying her to dinner with Nanqiao, who is being accompanied by Yu. They spend a very pleasant evening together, as the two brothers have already developed genuine feelings for the women and can no longer hide them. During Ningnin's party, one of the attendees goes to greet them to make sure everything is all right. They are warmly welcomed by the woman, since they were the only invited guests. At first, everything seems to be going well. However, Ningen deliberately gets the women drunk, and once she makes sure the alcohol has taken effect, she has two muscular men enter and orders them to wake the women and try to seduce them. Ningen was never truly their friend. She was actually planning to ruin the women's reputations in order to damage their husband's company. Fortunately, things do not go any further, because an assistant realizes what is happening and immediately informs his bosses, who rush to get their wives. Meanwhile, the women are ignoring and mocking Ning's men, as they have no interest in them. As soon as the twins arrive, each takes his respective wife away and orders their assistants to erase all the evidence and punish Ningen for her actions. On the way home, Lindy flirts with her husband while still drunk, asking him not to be so hard on her anymore and to give her more money. Yichi can't resist her charms and agrees. At the same time, Nanyao and Yu finally manage to finish what they started nights earlier, since this time Yu does not shy away from his wife's flirting, and instead responds to it, spending a wonderful night together. Lindy notices this the next morning, as Yu seems unusually happy, while Nanyao hasn't even left the room. She goes to look for her friend, who almost immediately tells her what happened the night before with her husband. The two celebrate until Lindsay remembers the existence of the story's heroine, so she asks Nanyao what she plans to do once the heroine appears and warns her not to fall in love with Yu. Nanqiao brushes this off, saying she won't fall in love with Yu, and if she does, she'll simply replace him with other men, since she plans to leave as soon as the heroine appears. Lindy gets a job as a voice actress. At the company, she meets Zhang, with whom she has a somewhat tragic first encounter, since his attempt to arrive early causes her to fall. Despite this, he immediately finds her cute and tries to get closer to her. Lindy doesn't notice this and rejects him right away. When the brothers get together, Yu asks his brother whether he has made any progress in bed with his beloved, which the man denies. Yu tries to give him some advice, but Yichi isn't interested in listening as Yu starts talking about how deeply he is falling for Nanyao. Despite Lindsay's rejections, Zhang doesn't give up and tries to invite her out again, but she turns him down because she already has plans with her friend. Lindy can't refuse when her other co-workers invite her out, but she lets them know she will bring her friend along. During dinner, Nanyao immediately notices that Zhang is interested in Lindsay and tries to pair them up, even though she knows Lindsay is already married. The two go to the restroom, where Nanyao suggests that she should consider Zhang as a potential future partner. Lindsay refuses, reminding her that she is already married, and although her marriage has only recently improved, she wants to respect her husband. When they come out, they help a girl who is being harassed by a man, unaware that their husbands are watching them, as they had gone there for business. When they try to leave for home, Zhang offers that they take a taxi together, at which moment the twins appear. Noticing the way they approach, Zhang tries to protect Linxi as he feels they intend to hurt her. However, she soon greets her husband. Zhang asks whether she knows the man, so Linxi introduces him as her boyfriend. On the way home, he questions why she introduced him as her boyfriend and not as her husband. The woman confesses that it is because their marriage is arranged and also because no one would believe her if she introduced him as her husband, since they are both still very young. Ichi feels a little discouraged by this, as he thought his relationship with Lindsay had finally made progress. However, this is not enough to make him give up. In the following days, he tries to get as close as possible to his beloved, hugging her at night, or holding her so she won't fall. Lindsay has no complaints, and instead enjoys it, as she likes touching her husband's abs. Seeing that things are not progressing as he would like, Ichi decides to ask his wife what she thinks about their marriage. Lindy answers simply that everything seems fine to her and that there is nothing she wants to complain about. This gives Ichi hope, and he casually says that he hopes they can continue working together for a long time. Nenkiao realizes how much she loves Yu and decides not to leave him even if the heroine appears. After he defended her from her family and even cried when he realized the harm they had done to her, she understands that her husband is genuinely in love with her. Lindsay also begins to notice Yichi's feelings for her, since during a family visit he helps her relatives with things that would never even have crossed his mind in the past. Moreover, he does so voluntarily, which makes Lindsay think that perhaps Yichi is in love with her, though she decides to dismiss that thought almost immediately. Things seem to stabilize for a while until C, the heroine of the story, finally appears. She visits the clinic where Yu works while he is there with his wife. Nanyao is surprised to see that she has finally appeared, but she is even more shocked when Yu shows no reaction to her at all, as he can only think about his beautiful wife. The same thing happens with Yichi, as it turns out that Siggy is also a voice actress and comes to sign a contract together with Linny. Lindy is equally surprised when Yichi doesn't even look at her or say a word to her. While the girls are discussing what they should do about the heroine's appearance and their husband's reactions, Lindy receives a call from an unknown number. When she answers, the person on the other end of the line claims to be the true heroine of the story, who has come to take the place that rightfully belongs to her, since she is apparently being supported by the novel's system. To be continued.